I'm Luis Rodriguez, and let's square up trans rights. Federal judge blocks Trump policy of moving transgender women to men's prisons. A federal judge has once again blocked the Trump administration from transferring transgender women in federal custody to men's prisons, ruling that the policy could place them at serious risk of violence and harm. In a decision issued Sunday, U.S. District Judge Royce C. Lamberth granted a preliminary injunction protecting 14 transgender women currently housed in women's prisons and halfway houses. The ruling prevents the Federal Bureau of Prisons from enforcing part of President Donald Trump's Executive Order 14168 against those plaintiffs. The order directs the Bureau of Prisons to maintain the women's current placements in women's prisons and halfway houses while the litigation proceeds. The executive order by Trump, signed January 20, 2025, demands that federal agencies recognize only two sexes and requires prisons to house incarcerated people according to the sex assigned at birth. The court cited evidence showing the women could face heightened risk of physical violence, sexual assault, psychological distress, and self-harm. Lamberth wrote that the plaintiffs were newly arrived, visibly feminized transgender women coming from a women's prison and therefore especially vulnerable. The judge also rejected the government's argument that any harm could simply be treated afterwards. LGBTQ plus legal advocates praised the ruling. The injunction, however, applies only to the 14 women involved in the lawsuit. I mean, what harm? You can't fix dead.
Right, exactly. Let's do it after the fact. Afterward.
And these are 14 lucky transgender, because you don't know how many are out there that don't have representation and are being moved in place quietly.
Right.
I remember my church was recently in Broward County Jail a year ago, and transgender woman. Fortunately, Broward County has a place where they were safe, but other people weren't recognized that way. So to have this story, only 14 people are saved. At least it's 14 people. Thank God for that. It's important. And aftercare, what does every HMO tell you? Be better before you get sick. That's why health insurance is helpful.
Yeah.
Be better before you get sick. This is aftercare. Again, you can't fix that.
Work. Yeah, part of my work on the LGBTQ advisory board for Miami-Dade County, we did visit several of the local correctional facilities. They're not prisons, because they're shorter stays. But we happened to visit on a day when it was a men's prison, when they had their group meeting with their social worker, and we had the benefit of being with them at that time. And there were at least two of the individuals who were clearly feminized. Mm-hmm. And they shared with us some of the challenges they face. And as an advisory committee, maybe we only have 6 more months, but we've set that as one of our priorities to try and get in front of, the director of prisons, because a couple little, small, simple changes could make a world of difference for these women. And I know that they're in there for a reason, but that doesn't mean that they should be abused.
No.
And people should not be judged on the worst day of their life.
That's right. And thank you for doing the right thing, U.S. District Judge Royce C. Lamberth. We remember your name.
Yes. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.